What's up, party people, and welcome to Stoniecast number 155 and season 5, episode 17 of Thoughts and Hunches, making money in bunches and sucker punches. It's your boy Stony coming back at you for the 155th time, and I'd like to welcome all of my fellow hoodlums, shady characters, lowlifes, scumbags, scoundrels, heathens, altar boys with unhealthy relationships with their priests, hustlers, wise guys, people that give themselves nicknames and speak in the third person, unacceptable, foul-mouthed raging alcoholics, MLB players that have got into a fight with Bryce Harper. You know who you are. Cheats, disasters that take pride in a $4 profit on the WNBA. Also unacceptable. Gangsters, fienders with abusive language, and degenerates, let's face it, anybody with a massive gambling problem. If you're new to the show, hey, that means you probably fit into one or a few of those categories, so welcome, because you're now one of us. One of us, gooba gobba, one of us, we accept it, one of us. Sorry, sometimes I get a little carried away there. Hey, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down here, lower right-hand corner. Ring that bell, like, subscribe, comment. It helps out the show. And this way, you can get notified every time I put out a new video. To spread the word's also very easy. Just tell other degenerates and scumbags you know to go to YouTube and enter Thoughts and Hunches in the search bar. That'll take you directly to my page, and that way you can get dialed into everything I give you. Also, if you're new and you don't know what's what with this channel, it's college and pro football winners, MLB playoff winners, and college basketball winners. The books don't expect a guy like me to come in and deliver this many winners, right? That's what I do. I'm an outlier and a disruptor. I'm like the Beastie Boys. I disrupt.
Step inside the party, disrupt the whole scene.
That's right, boys. Just keep it coming, right? I go to the mattresses every single week and get you the info every single week in order to get you to the window with a ticket to cash. Now, before I get to this week's picks, as usual, I have some thoughts. Al?
Give me all you got. Listen, give me all you got.
Yep. Never gets old. I'm going to start with some programming notes. This week, there are only 2 NCAA football matchups until next Wednesday. So this one is more NFL-centric, I guess you could call it. Don't get used to it, though, because bowl games take center stage next week with a ton of games leading up to Christmas. I'll have 8 bowl games for next week, including the 4 first-round games of the college football playoff. Now, keep in mind that starting this Saturday, college basketball will completely take over Saturdays. So for those shitty days during the week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, right? Saturdays more than make up for it, starting this week. Stoniecast 157 will come out on Christmas week. Now, I haven't decided yet which day that will post. Hell, it might even be on Christmas Day because Christmas Day is on a Wednesday. But I don't know. I got to see how my schedule works out and when I'm going to have time for the research and to do this. But with an NFL game on Christmas, that pick will be in Stoniecast 156 next week. And that's when I'll tell you about what day Christmas week I'll post number 157. All right? Stoney's college football rankings are done, and I did a pretty good job, right? If I don't mean to, put it all on myself. But now it's time to get into the playoff bracket that was released on Sunday. I'll start by saying that I have no beef at all with SMU making the tournament instead of Alabama or Miami. None at all. I'm good with the teams that made it. The ACC did not get a first-round bye, but they got 2 teams in. Boise and Arizona State got first-round byes, and I'm okay with that because they've both been red hot down the stretch and haven't lost in months. I really like the Indiana versus Notre Dame matchup for the Battle of Indiana in the first round. I think Penn State SMU is a very good first-round game. But the best first round matchup is clearly Tennessee versus Ohio State. I do believe Texas got the benefit of the draw and could make it to the semifinals if they win their first round game, despite playing a first round game, right? A Georgia versus Notre Dame in round 2 should be very good if Notre Dame takes care of Indiana. But with all that being said, I still believe that Oregon, who got a tough draw, is still the best team in the nation and should win it all. But going undefeated is very difficult. Next week's Stoniecast will have the first round matchups, aka the quarterfinals, so look out for those. Now, as for the week that was, college football started with an incredibly lousy 0-3 Friday, but all that went out the window with a 6-1 Saturday. I'll gladly take 6-4 on the week. College hoops was odd from the get-go as I was playing catch-up pretty much all week. College hoops 37-32-1 is not very good, but it's still in the black, albeit barely. NFL, I hit Thursday night and I had a good Sunday to get to 7-4 before the walls caved in. The Chiefs cost me on Sunday night, like they've done to most bettors this season. And then the total fiasco that is the Dallas Cowboys on Monday night, the blocked punt, the horrible tackling. All of a sudden, the 7-4 week in the NFL turned into 7-7, and I was furious when I went to bed on Monday night. But you add it all up, and it's yet another week in the black for your boys' 8th straight winning week. So let's take a look at the updated numbers. Last week, 50 wins, 43 losses, 1 push. 53.76%, which is above water, but not a great week by any standards. NCAA football regular season, 187 wins, 121 losses, 1 push, 60.4%, with only 1 game left in the regular season this Saturday, means I'm going to finish the season, the regular season, over 60% in college football. That's crazy. NFL regular season, 126 wins, 89 losses, 6 pushes, 58.6%. 2 straight up not so good weeks means it's time to step up, right? NCAA basketball regular season, 211 wins, 157 losses, 3 pushes, 57.34%. It's a little down, but 57 is still 57. So overall, all 16 weeks that I've given you every pick from every Stoniecast this season, 574 wins, 419 losses, 10 pushes, 57.8%. And you know what? Numbers that high, they can only mean one thing.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Yep, something like that. Thanks, Teddy. Now, please remember that all of these picks that I'm giving you are 100% free. So for all the touts out there giving you 75 to 80% winners, come on. All right? First of all, we all know you're full of shit. Plus, you're charging for these picks.
Oh! You're supposed to be...
Come on. How does that happen? Right? With me, just come to YouTube every week and I'll drop my plays on you for free. All right? You ready? Okay, away we go. Episode 17. Al?
Just win, baby.
That's right, Al. Tell him. Last night, to start the week, I dropped a 7-3 night on that ass to get you to a great start, right? All of us. The 3 games I lost were heartbreakers. One was by 1.5, and the other 2 were by 0.5 point each, meaning either the numbers were insanely accurate or I was just insanely unlucky. But that's college hoops. A missed free throw down the stretch turns tickets from winners to losers and vice versa. It's all good, though. I ain't tripping. Yeah, that's 2 straight Oakland rapper shout-outs, all right? Hammer and Too Short. Because if you don't know, now you know. Yeah, I see you, Biggie. Yeah, that's just the way it goes. 7-3 to start the week is just where I want to be. So let's add to that tonight. Here's Wednesday's plays. 7 Eastern tonight. I'm going to start with a big dog and take Texas El Paso, catching 15.5 on the road at Louisville. 7 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. I like St. John's in a blowout at home, minus 23.5 over Bryant. 7 Eastern in a rivalry game. Give me Milwaukee, minus 4.5 at Green Bay. 8 Eastern on ESPN2. 5th-ranked Kentucky will win by 25 to 30 points in a blowout, which is why I'll take shitty-ass Colgate, plus 32 in Lexington. 9 Eastern in Provo. I like Fresno State on the road, catching 26.5 at Brigham Young. And finally, 10 Eastern, I'm going to close out the night with another dog in South Dakota State, plus 12 at Nevada. That's only 6 plays, but that's just the start of 3 straight days with not a lot of action on the board, right? But all that leads up to Saturday, which is just going to be nuts. Now, moving on to the NFL. Week 15, starting tomorrow night, 8:15 Eastern on Amazon in Inglewood. Always up to no good. Shout out Dre, sorry. The 6-7 49ers are 2.5-point road chalk at the 7-6 Ram Chops, and the total's 48.5. SF's 3-game losing streak was halted on Sunday with a blowout win over the shitty-ass Bears, with the Rams having won 3 out of 4, beating nobodies, right up until their win over the Bills on Sunday, right? 49ers and Kyle Shanahan owned the Rams. And Ryan Seacrest. I'm sorry, Sean McVay, because you can't tell them apart. Until last year, right, where the Rams have been winning suddenly against the 49ers, including a win in Santa Clara back in September. 49ers aren't any good, and they haven't beaten anybody with a winning record, and they have no running backs because their top 4 are all injured. That continues here. Ram Chops, plus 2.5 at home with a little sprinkle on the money line. 40?
Sprinkle me, man.
Yeah, something about 40. Ever since I could remember, the Army-Navy game has always been a standalone game. But with so many bowls this year, the NCAA added a bowl game this Saturday. Well, let's get started with the last game of the regular season at 3 p.m. Eastern at Northwest Stadium in Landover, where 22nd ranked Army is a 6.5-point favorite versus 8-3 Navy, and the total's 39.5. Army's lone loss was to Notre Dame 3 weeks ago, while Navy stumbled down the stretch after a 7-0 start. The glaring point was Navy was blown out 35-0 by Tulane, while Army beat the Green Wave on Friday night to win the American Athletic Conference Championship. This one, as usual, the Commander-in-Chief trophy's up for grabs. And the rule of thumb in the Army-Navy game is always take the dog and always, always, always take the under. Navy plus 6.5 and under 39.5. The first of 48 bowl games starts this Saturday, and I'll be giving you guys sides and totals for every single bowl game. The Salute to Veterans Bowl is the first one, and it's Saturday night, 9 Eastern on ESPN at the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery, where 6-6 South Alabama is an 8.5-point favorite versus 6-6 Western Michigan, and the total's 59.5. USA has lost 3 out of 4, while Western Michigan has dropped 3 out of 4, right? Big number in a bowl game between 2 6-6 teams, but it's essentially a home game for the Jaguars. Call me crazy, but I like South Alabama to start off bowl season with a bang. USA minus 8.5 and over 59.5. NFL Week 15 gets going on Sunday. 1 Eastern on CBS at the Dog Pound in Cleveland, where 12-1 Kansas City is a 5-point road chalk at the 3-10 Browns, and the total set at 45 and a chunk. Two bad teams meet up here as the Brownies can't beat anyone, and the Chefs are 0-7 to the number in their last 7 games. I won 6 of those, but took the Chefs on Monday night to my detriment. Shout out Doug Coughlin, to their detriment. Know it. Not gonna happen again though. Remember that good teams always win, but great teams cover. Browns +5 at home. 1 Eastern at Nissan Stadium, right up the road here in Music City. 5-8 Cincinnati is a 5-point road favorite at the 3-10 Titans, and the total's 48. The Bengals have been snake bit due to a shitty defense all season, and they were owed one when they beat Dallas Monday night. Tennessee's just plain awful. A team that could only manage 2 field goals at home to a really bad Jacksonville defense last week. That's more proof on how bad the Titans are. Bengals -5. Sunday, 1 Eastern on Fox at the Superdome in the Big Easy. 8-5 Washington's a 7.5-point road favorite at 5-8 New Orleans, and the total's 43. Taysom Hill is out, Derek Carr is out, and the Saints are a mess. The Commando Skins are coming off a bye week, and they have rolled shitty teams this year without beating anybody even resembling a winning record. While the Saints continue to struggle. They've been struggling all year. Joe, tell us, what have they been doing?
Struggling.
Come on, Joe.
Struggling.
Oh, one more time for good luck.
Struggling.
Thanks, Joe. That continues here. Washington -7 and a hook. 1 Eastern on CBS at Snoopyville in New Jersey. The 8-5 Ravens are 15-point road favorites at the 2-11 Giants, and the total's 43.5. Baltimore has lost 2 out of 3, but those L's were to both Pennsylvania teams. And now they got a week off to face a Giants team that is just truly pathetic. 9 times out of 10, I'm taking this many points. But the Giants show me absolutely nothing. Call me crazy, but give me the Ravens -15 on the road. Sunday, 1 Eastern at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. The 3-10 Panthers are 3-point home favorite versus 5-8 Dallas, and the total's 43. Carolina's covered 5 straight despite being 3-10 straight up, and that's based on Bryce Young maturing and playing much better. Dallas is the NFC's version of the Raiders. They're now starting to invent ways to lose every week, like they did on Monday night. Oh, and they're on a short week? I must be nuts for taking the Panthers and laying points, but that's exactly what I'm doing here. Sunday, 1 Eastern on Fox at Everbank Stadium in Duval County. The 3-10 Jets are 3-point road favorites at the 3-10 Jaguars in a truly unwatchable game. These are 2 god-awful franchises, and while both are a mess, the Jags catching 3 at home have to be the play. 1 Eastern on CBS at Energy Stadium in H-Town. The 8-5 Texans are 3-point home favorites over the 6-7 Dolphins, and the total is 47. Houston's done a good job beating up bad teams, and so have the Finns. Houston has lost 3 out of 5, while C.J. Stroud continues to regress following his fantastic rookie season last year. The Finns have turned their season around with the arrival of Tua, and I see Miami going in and stealing one in H-Town. Dolphins +3 with a sprinkle. 40?
Sprinkle me, man. Sprinkle.
Attaboy, Earl. Just got to keep us informed. 4:25 Eastern on CBS at Mile High in Denver. The 8-5 Broncos are 3.5-point home chalk versus 6-7 Indianapolis, and the total's 44.5. Here's the NFL in a nutshell. The Colts have lost 3 out of 5 to Detroit, Buffalo, and Minnesota, all 3 of whom will be playing next month. And Denver has won 3 straight over Cleveland, Las Vegas, and Atlanta, all 3 who will be watching football next month. Denver has been excellent against the dregs of the league. It continues here. Denver, -3.5. 4:25 Eastern on CBS at Ford Field in the Motor City. The game of the day. pits the 12-1 Lions as a 1.5-point home favorite versus 10-3 Buffalo, and the total's 54. This is a very real possibility of being a Super Bowl preview, as the Lions' only loss was way back in week 2, and while the Bills were red hot, they did drop one in La La Land on Sunday that was one of my winners, I believe.
Hooah!
That's right, Al. Keep them informed. You're welcome. I don't like either coach here, as I believe Dan Campbell and Sean McDermott are both wildly overrated, and constantly going for it on fourth down is going to cost them in January. While Jared Goff is having a career year, it's because he has the best offensive line in the NFL by a mile. I still prefer Josh Allen, though. Bills plus 1.5 with a sprinkle.
Sprinkle me, man.
Attaboy. Another game of the day is the battle for Pennsylvania at 4:25 Eastern on Fox at the Link in Stoniecast. 11-2 Philadelphia is a 5.5-point home favorite versus 10-3 Pittsburgh, and the total's 43. Again, both teams will be playing next month, and both teams are playing very well. Mike Tomlin is a better coach than Nick Sirianni, but Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Russell Wilson. Yeah, I said it. Now, there's problems between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, who are allowing personal feelings to get in the middle of their relationship. The Eagles' locker rooms is a mess. With that being said, George Pickens is doubtful for Pittsburgh. You want some numbers? In the words of Coach Ken Carter, shout out Samuel L., I got some stats for that ass. The Steelers are 5-0 as dogs this season. They've won 7 straight outright as a dog. And Tomlin in his career is 60, 32, and 3 to the number as a dog. With that being said, I like Philly to get the win, but I like the Steelers getting 5.5. 4:25 Eastern on CBS at State Farm in Glendale. The 6-7 Cardinals are 6.5-point home chalk over 3-10 New England, and the total's 45.5. Just as Arizona was looking like the best team in the NFC West, they've now fallen off a cliff and dropped 3 straight. Though the Seahawks twice and Minnesota are nothing to sneeze at. The Pats have been a mess all season. Cards get off the schneid and get the win and cover here. Zona minus 6.5. 4:25 Eastern on Fox at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. Always up to no good. Shout out Dre. The 8-5 Chargers are 3-point home favorites versus 7-6 Tampa Bay, and the total's 46.5. This is another good matchup between two probable playoff teams. As usual, these are two teams that can't beat anybody good. The Chargers gave the Chiefs all they could handle on Sunday night, but lost, and have now lost 2 out of 3. The Bucs have ripped off 3 straight and have taken over the NFC South as Atlanta continues to fade. But both teams need this one, and they both have winning records, so someone is going to beat a team with a winning record. And I'll take the Chargers, because that's a long trip for the Bucs. Chargers minus 3. The Chiefs cost me last Sunday night, but I'm still 8-6, right? Well, I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. So 8-6 on Sunday night ain't bad. Shout out Carrie and her legs. Wow, those legs. Anyway, this one goes at 8:20 Eastern on NBC at Lumen Field in Seatown. Shout out Mix-a-Lot. And 9-4 Green Bay is a 3-point road favorite at 8-5 Seattle, and the total's 47. The Pack lost a tough one last Thursday night in Detroit after winning 3 in a row. Seattle has won 4 in a row to take the lead in the NFC West. That all ends here. Pack minus 3 on the road. Monday night, we have another two-pack of games. And the first one goes at 8 Eastern on ABC at US Bank Stadium in Stoniecast, where the 11-2 Vikings are 6.5-point home favorites versus 4-9 Chicago, and the total's 43.5. The Vikings are streaking, having won 6 straight. The Bears have lost 7 straight and haven't rebounded since that Hail Mary loss back in October. 6.5 is a trap. Vikings should be favored by double figures. Because they're not, I'm reluctantly on the Bears here. Chicago plus 6.5 because they'll be hanging around. Teddy, tell us.
Hanging around. Kids got alligator blood.
Mike McDermott has alligator blood, and the Bears will have it this week. And to close out the NFL week at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN at the Death Star in America's Playground. 6-7 Atlanta is a 4.5-point road favorite at the 2-11 Raiders, and the total's 44. The Falcons took over first place in the NFC South, but now haven't won since October. The good news for the Falcons is that the Raiders are a complete catastrophe. With so many horrible teams in the NFL, the Raiders having the worst record is telling. They don't have a healthy quarterback. And they have a really bad coach who had no business getting hired. They can't run the ball. Forget it. I can go on and on. Falcons -4 and a chunk. After Monday night, but before next Wednesday's Stoniecast 156, there's another bowl game on Tuesday night. And it's the Frisco Bowl at 9 Eastern on ESPN at Toyota Stadium in Frisco, where 10-2 Memphis is a 2.5-point favorite versus 6-6 West Virginia, and the total's 56.5. Memphis comes in red hot, having won 6 out of 7, while West Virginia dropped 2 out of 3 down the stretch. The Mountaineers have been sneaky good covering numbers, but when they're bad, they're really bad. I'm on Memphis here to finish the season with 11 wins. Memphis -2.5 and under 56.5. That's all the 16 NFL games, every one of them, to go along with the only 2 college football matchups, right? And more college hoops, right? Now, I've already given you 10 college hoops games last night and won 7 of them. So get ready for a ton of college basketball coming this Saturday. Make sure to check back in the comments section of this video right here for daily hoops picks. And check back next Wednesday as Stoniecast 156 will be coming out at you. So until then, just remember that if you want to win big, you got to bet big. You can't go broke taking a profit. Scared money don't make money. For me, the action is the juice. The difference between making money and winning is that anyone can win betting chalk, but you can't make money unless you take the dogs. Do you want to win or do you want to make money? Big difference. You decide. There's money on the streets that can't be ignored. And finally, good luck to you. Miss you, Gooch. My brother.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.